One of the biggest time sucks on the restoration project that I've been working on, and indeed I'd imagine any older bike restoration project, is the amount of time it takes to polish up and clean up every piece of metal. Up until this point, I have been doing it all by hand. And frankly, that was taking forever. So then I bought some buffing wheels attached to a drill. And it was too much work to somehow secure the workpiece and be able to use the drill on it. Then I got creative and decided that perhaps it would be easier if I attached a buffing wheel from my drill onto my drill press. And that actually worked, if I'm honest, fairly well. However, my girlfriend, sensing my pain, gave me this for Christmas. A bench mount buffing wheel. So, I figured I'd do a little review here for the Power Fist 8-inch variable speed bench mount buffer. Oh, let's see what you get. Instructions. Appear to be two different buffing wheels. A softer, looser one, and a more dense one, I suppose, would be the difference between the two. A softer one and a denser one. I have to read and see what those are for. Assortment of mounting hardware. Your usual environmental nightmare. And the buffer itself. Plastic bag can be dangerous. Keep away from babies. Maybe you should just keep your babies off your workbench. Just a pro parenting tip there. So, initial impressions. It's not actually as hefty as I would have suspected. I would expect it to be heavier. It does appear, however, to be solid metal. It appears to have a cast base. It looks like aluminum sides. And two buffing wheel shafts. It's also got a variable speed knob on the front. I think it looks just fine. See about getting her together, shall we? Alright, let's see how hard this can be. Looks like you get two spacers, two different colored nuts. I'm guessing one's probably a left-handed thread and one's probably right-handed thread, depending on which side of the machine you're working on. And four cupped plates. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm assuming they sandwich the two buffing wheels in place. Oh, let's see what the old booklet here says on how this sucker goes together. Care and maintenance, operation, how to use the on-off switch. All useful things. There we go. Slide spacer onto left armature shaft after removing plastic protective sleeve. How hard can that be? Harder than it might suggest, actually. There we go. Slide spacer onto shaft. Don't know why they actually have a spacer there. Maybe you can get bigger, fatter discs. Seems like they could have somehow incorporated that into the design instead of giving you something that you can lose and misplace. But hey, I'm no expert on this stuff. It's my first buffer. I could be wrong. Slide inner wheel flange onto shaft with flat side toward buffing wheel. Well, neither side is flat. But we're going to assume that the cupped side does not go toward the buffing wheel. Slide a buffing wheel onto the shaft. How hard could that possibly be? We'll go for the denser one. I got a lot of pretty grimy looking metal. This appears to be a left-handed thread. Tight fit. Outer flange. And then tighten the threaded next nut number 1 onto the shaft. Nice if they told you which nut was for which side, but I guess we'll figure that out. Or perhaps they're both the same, just different colors for some reason. How odd. I'm guessing that this one is for the other side. They are indeed different. I feel they should have delineated that somehow, or mentioned that in the instructions. Make sure buffing wheel is firmly held in place and hex nut is stuck against the outer flange. Use additional spacers, not supplied, if required. I assume they'll probably be just fine. I'm gonna get a crescent wrench to tighten that up just a little bit. Installed! Rinse and repeat. This side is a right-handed thread, as I thought. They're both different. That makes sense. There we go. Let's plug her in and see what explodes. Sure it's in the off position. Slowest speed setting. Wow, on low it's actually markedly quiet and very smooth. I'm impressed. Crank her up a little. Wow. It's quite nice actually. This will make it more pleasant to use. Normally you'd bolt this down to your workbench, but I don't feel like drilling holes today, so I'm just going to clamp it down. Should be sufficient for what I'm doing. Perhaps when I get my exhaust pipe or something a little bigger on here, I'll make a plate or something for it to bolt to. Really doesn't vibrate at all, so I don't see this being a problem. So the manual provides no instruction on which side you should use or what speed to go at. I suppose that's fair. If you're buying a tool, maybe you should know how to use it. However, we're going to dive right in. Let me get my polish. So I've got my compounds here. What I have read for aluminum, which is what I'll be working on here. Black is coarse, brown is medium, white is finish. Start them slow and give it a whirl. I have a small cover off one of my motorcycles. It's actually the oil cover off of a GT 750. Then I've got a bigger casing here I'm going to try. They're quite You can see it's quite oxidized. So we'll see how much action this has on it. Let's give it a whirl. Start with coarse. Already it's got a luster to it again. And a reflection in it, you can see. That wasn't there before, it was all oxidized. See how shiny we can get it. Well, with only the rough compound on there and a quick once over, it's a marked improvement. It's quiet, it seems to work well. I'm going to do the other pieces and we'll see how it turns out. So I've been using it for about half an hour now. And I've gone from something that started out looking like this, see, pretty heavily oxidized, to this, which you can see now actually has a luster to it again. It's not perfect, there's a few sections here I'll need to take some sandpaper to knock off some of the heavier oxidation, but I can't fault the buffer for that. It has done a miraculous job on it, really. I should have gotten one of these sooner. Overall, I did notice that it's actually speed controlled. You can hear it inside. It'll react to load to maintain a constant speed, which is nice. As I mentioned before, it's very quiet. It's very smooth. Yeah, for the I don't know how it would hold up to industrial use or commercial use, but for the home gamer, it's definitely more than adequate.